Well, our kids, we feel like we've had a good week of preparation, and our kids are excited about going down and playing a really good LSU team in a great environment in Baton Rouge. And, this has been a long-standing series, and there's been a lot of great games over the years. And, I feel like it'll be really competitive. And, I think our kids are really excited about this great opportunity they have.
You talked Monday about LSU. It's a lot like y'all. Both teams lost a lot of great players from last year's series teams, but both teams are adjusting to it.
Yeah, I think, LSU lost some really good players from a year ago, but they have really good, young, talented kids who have taken their place. And, I think, NOLA's one of the best in college baseball. They're a very good defensive team. They had a great offensive night last night against McNeese State. And, they're probably, after last weekend, there's probably, I know there's a sense of urgency for sure, but I feel like we have a sense of urgency as well. And I think, again, as you said, another great SEC weekend, another great Mississippi State LSU weekend.
Can you talk about that rivalry, LSU Mississippi State?
Yeah, I think having played in it, I thought it was great. I think the reason why you get a sense that there's a rivalry there is because for a long period of time, Mississippi State and LSU really had two of the only fan bases in the Southeastern Conference in terms of schools that will travel and in terms of people showing up for games consistently. You look at 70s, 80s, 90s, those two have been a constant. So I think in that way it's a rivalry. But I think that it's kind of like every other sport. I think, gosh, when we play Vanderbilt on the weekends, I feel like it's a rivalry. When we play Ole Miss, that's a rivalry. So I think you can make a case for any weekend in the league being a rivalry for sure.
But both teams coming off a Saturday doubleheader, how do you think that impacts pitching plans for this weekend?
Yeah, we know for sure that Brown's not going to pitch tomorrow night. He threw a bullpen earlier in the week and was I had a little bit of a shoulder issue, and so we're going to have to adjust to that. Whether that's moving Ross up into his spot, we don't know. Ross really wants to pitch on Friday night. Having talked to him yesterday, but we got to wait and see how he feels on Friday. So, whenever you're moving guys around, then I think you're in a situation where you got to find out what's best for that young man and how he feels. So, certainly we don't know exactly what we're going to do with Trevor. For right now, we would probably go Ross and then probably go with Trevor on Saturday and wait and see how Brown's shoulder's doing on Sunday. But we could deviate from that if Ross wakes up on Friday and his arm's not where he wants it to be. We're for sure going to give him another day.
So you're also looking at the chance of weather on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. So, you look at the predictions. You look at NOAA. It's really different than the Weather Channel, and I don't like playing weatherman until you get 5 or 6 hours away from. And I know that impacts fans and it impacts game management and things like that. But I think when you try and play weatherman more than 24 hours in advance, you're really you're going to make more mistakes than you are anything else.
Any other questions?
What is it?
What's the game plan with Nola? I mean, he's probably only going to make 3 or 4 mistakes all night, and you got to kind of just attack those.
Yeah, he's really good. Nola's really good. He's a strike thrower. He's got great stuff. I think he's going to be a great draft pick. He's really hard to beat. You have to get a key hit. You really, somebody's got to stand in there and get that HBP or the walk. And you're talking about 2 really good defensive ball clubs, so somebody's going to have to make a mistake in order to beat Nola. But I felt that way on Friday night, against LSU. Against Vanderbilt's guy, Beatty. I thought he was really, really good. Didn't pitch as well against us as he would have liked to, but just when you're convinced that you got to beat one guy on a pitching staff, another guy steps forward and pitches as well as that guy. So, he will certainly be a challenge, but I think their other guys will be very, very competitive as well.
Any update on CT?
Yeah, I think he's moving around better. Does he play tomorrow night? We'll have to wait and see. We got to run him around out there and see how that thing's reacting. And hopefully we can, you know, have him on the field at some point this weekend.
Do you feel good about the offense? I mean, I thought I heard West during the weekend say that, you know, you charted 9 or 12 hard hit balls in a game where none of them fell. Are you charting things and liking what you're seeing out of this offense where they're getting barrel?
Yeah, I think that our goal is to beat the game. So we have certain charts that affect how we practice, and if we beat the chart, we feel like we have a great chance to win the game. So it's kind of worked out that way. So I think our kids are more in tune offensively with beating the chart, with eliminating average fly ball, eliminating strikeout, and getting to first base and hitting hard ground balls and line drives. We feel like that's who we are, and when we beat that chart, we got a chance to, you know, to in essence beat the game on that day.
Coach, I noticed a lot of your players have had a lot of fun with like their walk-up songs this year, kind of introducing themselves to the plate. Thoughts on that, and maybe what would have been your walk-up song when you played back in the day?
You know, I have not put a lot of thought into that question. Yeah, I think it's fun for the kids. You know, we want them to have fun. We want them to have, you know, an individualistic attitude, but within the framework of a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's fun for them as long as it's not, you know, anything outrageous. I think that's fine. I don't know. You know, I as a kid, I was a huge Billy Joel fan. I don't know if that plays well in the ballpark or not. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't given a lot of thought to that.
The SEC's strength hasn't been any surprise this season, but what does it say about the SEC West that LSU's in the basement right now as you guys are about to play them?
Yeah, you know, I really don't put any stock into who's where after 3 weeks. You know, you got 7 weeks left, and you know certainly LSU's not going to be in the basement when it's all said and done. So it's about your body of work, not about, you know, 2 or 3 weekends. So you know, if somebody would have judged our club last year after 2 or 3 weekends, they would have thought we were not going to be a very good ball club. And I think at the end of the year, we're one of the elite ball clubs in the country. So yeah, we'll see. You know what transpires. We have to keep playing good baseball to have a chance to compete in the best league in America.
You mentioned Preston Brown possibly may not be able to go this weekend. Who would be your other options?
Well, you know, Ben Bracewell certainly a possibility, and you know there are others. Dakota Hudson's been throwing the baseball really well. You know, Vance Tatum is somebody who's pitched really well for him in spots out of the bullpen. So, you know, we feel like we have some options. We just don't have a ton of experience. You know, Benny brings some experience, but he's been so good in relief, and you know Woody's a possibility for us too, and he's pitched really well in relief. So, you know, when these guys feel more comfortable coming out of the bullpen, it's hard to take them out of that comfort zone. But you know, we'll wait and see what happens, and put our best guy out there.
I know Brown last year, he didn't have the greatest outings against LSU, but can you talk about his confidence? I know he's gotten a few wins under his belt, a little bit more command at the plate.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous sinker. So when he's got guys missing over the top of the ball and hitting ground balls, and we're defending behind him, I think he has a chance for quick innings, and I think that builds confidence for him. And you know, he's had 2 great balls in a row, and I think for him, his whole deal was, man, I need to put together some outings in the spring, and certainly we gave him some midweek opportunities. He made the most of those and got his chance on the weekend. I think he's pitched pretty well on the weekend. So you know, we just need to get him healthy again. It's just a little bit of, you know, when you pitch, you know, there are going to be times when your arm's not going to be feeling great, but hopefully we can get him back maybe for Sunday.